Vanderbilt starting to turn the page, looking ahead, not quite, I guess, specifically to Florida, but to, just the rest of the season for South Carolina. Shane Beamer's weekly press conference will be live for you here on 107.5 The Game in about 2.5 hours, and he'll start to look ahead to Florida as well. Wes, do you remember who you were talking about in that intro? The dude in the weight room who was up to 210?
I think my guy Corey Rucker.
Oh, okay. Very good. How's he doing? How's his rehab going?
I'll let you know.
That's your dude, right?
I'll let you know this week.
Yeah.
We're actually, I think we have a Garnet Trust interview with him tomorrow, which will probably be posted, I don't know, maybe Monday. So I'll let you know.
Very good. Look at that. We're on the same wavelength. That was not even like a planned or intentional plug, but that's perfect. That's very cool. All right. So Carolina beat Vanderbilt. Talked about it a little bit yesterday. I kind of started the show with just like overall thoughts. Like I basically just gave an incomplete grade to the rushing offense because no Marshawn Lloyd. I thought there was maybe not progress, but the passing game did what it needed to. Did y'all see that Spencer Rattler graded out as the best quarterback in the country last weekend? PFF gave him a 92.2. And I thought he looked good. I thought he looked comfortable. I was surprised that was the best passing performance of the weekend. It's a little bit surprising. What's your mileage on the PFF numbers, by the way?
I mean, I'm iffy on them, but I think I do like the idea of a turnover worthy play.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think you've got a little bit of, there's probably too much wiggle room. What does this person consider a turnover worthy play? What does this other person consider a turnover worthy play? But in general, the idea of, okay, you could have no turnovers, but you put the ball in jeopardy 8 times in a game. Over the course of time, that's going to get you beat. That's going to get you hurt. Whereas, I think the SC State game, Rattler had 2 interceptions, but actually had 0, I think, turnover-worthy plays because neither play was a turnover-worthy play, and he kept the ball, away from danger on his other opportunities. So I think that's maybe factored into the grades fairly heavily, it seems. Efficiency is factored in, and I think difficulty of throw is factored in as well. Like a completion on a just sort of pop pass jet sweep they really should change the rule and not call that a pass anymore.
Although it saved Carolina a fumble in this game.
That's why you do it.
Yeah,
that's completely the reason why they started doing that as opposed to a handoff. Is those receivers A, aren't always used to taking handoffs, and B, if you drop it, it's an incomplete pass.
Is that your least favorite play in football? Yeah.
It's just another example of the game bending to the will of offense. It's so silly. Ugh.
Why do you hate those plays?
Because it's blatantly going against the spirit of the game. Some offensive coordinator found a little wiggle room. It's like, hey, guys, guess what we can do? We can throw it forward.
It was someone like Mike McDaniel.
It absolutely was.
You know why I love that play?
Because it works a lot?
No. Because I also don't like how it's recorded as a stat. But I like that game because of future NFL Hall of Famer Geno Smith. I mean, not Hall of Famer, MVP. He's going to win the MVP this year.
Both of those claims are wild, but continue.
Geno Smith is going to win the MVP, and Tavon Austin. Yep. I like that play because those two players ran that about 45 times to the tune of 70 points against Clemson in the Orange Bowl.
Also, for disclaimer, I'm a defensive guy, so most times when I dislike a play, it's because it's annoying and it works.
Yeah.
Yes. That play works, though. I feel like it should be called a run. Like I feel like that should be an adjustment to how we do things.
Well, especially if you can throw a football 25 yards at the line of scrimmage, somebody catches it and runs it, and it is logged as a run. If that is considered a run, then the pop bash it. Because Jaheim Bell had 2 catches early in that Vanderbilt game that were backwards passes, and so were technically considered runs. So I think, just in general, I'm not much of a literalist. I think in general we should abide by the spirit of the law and not the letter of the law so much. That's a spirit of the law.
Yeah, it's a run. Just like if you get sacked, it shouldn't count against your rushing totals because it skews things completely. It doesn't make the stats don't tell the story anymore. in that case. But I have no idea what you asked me about in the first place.
Who knows who came up with that play that we were just talking about?
Geno Smith and Tavon Austin.
Dana Holgerson.
He did not come up with it. He stole it from somebody. In a admitted it, which
the guy from the something of the Canyons.
there you go. Yep.
West.
It was Bob
East.
Stitt
Yes.
from College of the Mines. He then went on to be the head
Canyons.
coach at Montana. He calls it the fly sweep touch pass. He even has it on his Twitter profile.
Wow.
Inventor
of the fly
Yes.
sweep touch pass?
Well, he invented
And
it.
it is now everywhere.
I mean,
Preston's worst enemy.
That's
Bob
amazing.
Stitt.
Bob Stick. It's good to put a name to my problems. But if I created something in the game of football, I would definitely have it as my. Everybody would know that.
You just call it the Preston.
Whatever it was that I created,
It's a combo swim move, spin move with a chop.
just take it. Like if I was Gary Patterson, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm Gary Patterson. I invented the 4-2-5.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you."
Yeah.
You know that would be my thing.
They probably don't because they know they stole it from somebody else. Like you remember in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when the Chiefs ran that play where everybody just did a pirouette for no reason and then ran to the line of scrimmage, and then somebody dug up footage from a football game from the 30s where like the exact same thing happened. It's like everything's a remix.
Always. No idea is original.
Does anybody have any idea what I asked Wes? Because I have no clue.
Oh god. I have
Can
no
we run
idea.
the tape back? Oh, we don't know.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Oh,
but
PFF.
yeah, there we are.
How much stock you put in them?
Yeah. Oh, and I think what my point was going to be was that not all completions are created equal. So they at least attempt to create a scenario where you're grading if you throw a dagger, on a dig route, in a perfect spot for a completion, that counts more than the Bob Stitt fly sweep touch pass.
Especially
Which
when it's dropped.
Which I think is cool. So overall, there are some disagreements, but I think it's another tool.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll say this: QBR, I still have no idea what that even means. And then you have like the quarterback rating, but then you have the ESPN or NFL QB. I
don't understand. So QBR
I don't get it.
Stands for quarterback rating, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So why is QBR different from quarterback rating?
I have no idea.
Chris, this is something you would know. I mean, you know who invented the fly touch sweep pass, for crying out loud. You got to know this.
Will Helms would have to be our consultant. Like if there's any question about some type of analytic or PFF or how something.
He knows this stuff.
He would know it.
Okay.
My only issue with PFF is that how do they know what the person was supposed to be doing? And that's why a lot of times I hesitate to come in and say anything, is because I'll try and preface everything by saying I'm not sure exactly what their assignment was. This is what I think they were supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, especially on majority defensive football, you may not actually know what their assignment was. So how do you grade them on whether or not they accomplished it? So that's my only sort of issue with PFF.
Yeah. Well, we talked about one of those plays yesterday, the long play, the first Vanderbilt touchdown where the receiver was kind of in between Cam Smith and DQ, and it kind of looked like they were in cover 2, so maybe Cam was just passing him off because he's supposed to be kind of the flat guy, even though there was nobody else running in the flats. But it's like, I don't know, maybe they were in quarters and he was bailing, or like I just have no idea. Like it's hard
because
to know.
even if we're supposed to be in cover 2, maybe we're cover 2 invert where the safeties are coming down and the corners are playing. We don't know any of that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we don't even know that just from watching the game. So that's my only sort of slight disagreement with PFF. But at the same time, if they're going by a standard grading system, then PFF is good enough to tell us, oh, this dude played well and this dude did not.
Yeah, and I had the same question as you earlier in the season, so I tried to go back and look if there's an explanation. And they do say that what they grade on, or what they try to grade on, is that, yes, there's gray area. We don't know the plays, but we're grading what a player is attempting to do on a play when the ball is snapped. And so, and if they can't figure it out, then they have some type of like deferral, or they just won't grade that particular play. But of course, yes, like you said, I mean, there's some gray area there for sure.
All that said, I don't believe Spencer Rattler was the best passer in the country last week, but I did come away from the game feeling like he looked as comfortable as he has all season, confident, made some good throws, and if the numbers bear out that Spencer had a good game, I'm at least happy to use that as a piece of supporting evidence to support my eye test. But with that, I guess my question after a 12-minute introduction to it is what can South Carolina take away from its passing performance against Vanderbilt, a team that doesn't get after the passer, a team that doesn't defend wide receivers very well? What can they apply to the last quarter of the season to try to get more productivity out of what's been a pretty woeful passing attack this season?
I mean, I thought, y'all, that, yeah, going in, you look, Vandy, statistically, not a great defense, and a defense, like you just said, they don't really get after the quarterback very well. And I think from a matchup standpoint, South Carolina plays some teams that you look at and you say they're going to have to be able to run the football in order to be able to throw the football. That is probably your, I don't know where you'd put the cutoff at, like your average to then like your middle of the pack SEC defense and on up. Probably you say that. Maybe the line's even a little bit below that. I don't know. But against Vandy, I think you said even if they don't have much success running the ball, I don't know if Vandy has the pass rushers to get pressure, even if they know you're having to make it what you would call like a throw game. So I think you go in saying Carolina has an opportunity to move the football through the air, and then the positive takeaway though is that you hit some of these plays down the field. The ball to Leggett on the first drive of the game. He had 3-4 steps. He's wide open, but that's a deep ball that's dropped in there perfectly. So I think it is a confidence booster for this offense. And again, we talked about it yesterday. Some shorter routes were hit that were not at or behind the line of scrimmage. I think that's something you have to continue to do. And moving it forward to this coming week, this is a Florida defense that we know is going to have more talent than Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. But at least statistically, they have not been good this year either. They have they're sort of like 11th or 12th in the conference in most of your major traditional statistical categories on defense. So I look at this, I already feel like we can frame this game up as being one where the onus is going to be on South Carolina's offense. Like, I think they're going to have to score some points to go win this game. And it's not, we talked about the 3 games, Missouri, Kentucky A&M, 24 points probably win those games. I think you're going into this one saying offense is going to have to kind of have a similar output to what we saw against Vandy, because it is an awful matchup for Carolina's defense against Florida's offense.
Yeah. You got a piece up on Gamecock Central right now outlining a lot of those things. So if y'all want to go read more of Wes's thoughts, you can do it there. We'll get into a few more of them here. I guess as the week continues, Shane Beamer will start to preview Florida a little bit later on this afternoon, 803-404-6100. Want to hear from you guys. This is your last chance. If you do have any remaining thoughts from the Vanderbilt game, you can go ahead and get those in now on the text line or the phone line or on Twitter at Pearson Fowler, at Coach B Tweets, at Wes Mitchell GC, at GC Chris Clark. I promised you guys earlier I'd give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Thomas Rhett. We did that yesterday. We're going to do it again today. So we'll do the same thing. Caller number 6, though, this time. Just call 803-404-6100, and I will give you a pair of tickets to go see Thomas Rhett. It's the home team tour. It's not until July of 2023. Tickets aren't even on sale yet, though. So it's cool. You win them. You don't have to buy them. They're not even on sale yet. So 803-404-6100. Wes.
Here's the name one Thomas Rhett song.
Could not. Should I be able to?
No,
is he popular?
He actually is pretty popular.
Does he have a song called
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Back out. Nope.
We'll be right back on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
All right, there you go. Wes called it out.
The Early Game with Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen on your home of the Gamecock, 107.5 The Game.
This is Damon Amendolara with your CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Indeed. Attract, interview, and hire at Indeed.com/credit. Jim Irsay hiring Jeff Saturday is just amazing. In what other billion-dollar enterprise can you hire the person at the top without any experience? This is Damon Amendolara.
Yeah, we're replacing the carpets too, so don't worry about that.
No fresh powder yet, but Dan's Ski Lodge has an avalanche of projects.
Those 4 rooms are getting hot tubs.
He needs a staff engineer to navigate a flurry of new requests.
And all of those will be fully ADA accessible.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. See better and drive safer with Rain-X Advantage wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase a pair of Rain-X Advantage wiper blades and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate, plus 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
High school coverage on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Gamecock Nation, year 2 of the Shane Beamer era is here, and GamecockCentral.com wants to be your source for in-depth coverage and insider information. Come join our exclusive community of South Carolina fans today at GamecockCentral.com.
Hey everyone, this is Jimmy Guthrie from Superior Kia in Orangeburg. Personally inviting you to come out to the Superior Auto Mile, Highway 301 North for some big country savings. Everyone knows that out in the country, everything costs less, land costs less, houses cost less, and at Superior Kia in Orangeburg, new Kias cost less. But don't take my word for it. Go to SuperiorMotorsKia.com and see for yourself. Don't forget to click to unlock the deal of the day. Most importantly, at Superior Kia, we don't go to the big city auctions to buy cars. We'd rather buy local trade-ins from local people like you. That's why we price our new Kias so low. It's a win-win for everyone. You get a great deal on a new Kia, and we get our hands on a quality pre-owned trade-in. So if you want the best car at the best price with the best experience, you got to come out to the Superior Auto Mile, Highway 301 North for some big country savings.
Remember, that's SuperiorMotorsKia.com. Located on the Superior Auto Mile, Highway 301 North in Orangeburg.
Tee off at the beautiful Indian Trail Golf Course. Experience this unique family-run public golf course just outside of Batesburg, between Columbia and Augusta. Indian Trail Golf Course offers you all the amenities of a private club, but at affordable rates. Indian Trail is an exciting 18-hole regulation course. The signature hole is number 14, a scenic 336-yard par 4 featuring a double-tiered green. At Indian Trail, they take pride in providing the best customer service for every person who plays through. Indian Trail is a daily free golf course with an open-to-public guest policy. For rates and details, visit IndianTrailGC.net and make your tee time. Indian Trail Golf Course is the sweet deal of the week. Log on to 1075thegame.com this Friday morning beginning at 9 and get a $60 gift certificate to Indian Trail Golf Course for just $30.
You know, one of the biggest challenges I see homeowners and buyers facing today is having the ability to rely on someone who has the experience and the knowledge to help them make these very important decisions. At the Hood team, we've been helping buyers and sellers since 1985, and I can assure you we've got the knowledge and the experience to help you through this entire process. I'm Danny Hood.
And I'm Karen Hood.
I'm William DiMaggio.
We're the Hood team at Coldwell Banker Realty.
Give us a call.
803-730-2512.
TheHoodTeam.com.
Hey Midlands, Gus Hurlong with Midas Auto Service and Tires.
This is DK Joyner for Midas in the Midlands. I will not take my car anywhere for service but Midas. Total car care. Trust me, you will win at Midas.
Thanks, DK. And don't forget to ask about our loaner cars while your vehicle is serviced.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler, Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
"21 after 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Welcome back in. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on 107.5 The Game. Pearson, Preston, Wes, Chris here with you. A lot going on right now in Columbia. South Carolina moving from Vanderbilt, turning the page, looking ahead to Florida. The women's basketball team got their season started in emphatic fashion last night. The men's basketball season starts tonight. Preston and I were talking earlier, Wes and Chris, about just how the game last night is just like, I don't know what the final score was, and it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think anyone knows the final score. It was just so much to just not enough. So I think it was 55-13 at halftime.
The depth on that team is insane. Like, I don't know if they'll play that type rotation, like, I don't know, in conference play or against big time opponents, but like, you have your 2 freshmen coming in like early in the first quarter, and the freshmen are really good.
Yeah,
but I was just like, how many people do they have?
14 out of 15 players scored.
Yeah,
6 players in double digits. Only 2 players had double digit shot attempts. So everyone was just scoring all the time. It was what you expected. I have no idea what to expect from the men's basketball team tonight. They might lose to SC State. They might win by 40. I have no clue. No idea what to expect. But we'll talk about it. Whatever happens, we'll be back here talking about it tomorrow. Before we officially kind of flush Vanderbilt, and it's Vanderbilt, and people aren't that interested in talking about Vanderbilt, it is Tuesday. That's a notebook dump day for us. We talked a little bit about the offense there. What can Carolina do to apply some of the successes? I get some of the success they had on offense was about Vanderbilt. I can't say all of it was about Vanderbilt. So, what can you take, if anything? Were there any other takeaways from you guys? And you can go either side of the ball on this.
I will not. I will resist the urge to talk about how they took care of the ball. I won't do that, even though that was important. No, this is I have a weird, like, Pearson-esque stat.
Well, you're kind of the stat guy on this show, though. You always got a stat of the day.
This is the first, and I got to double check myself. I'm pretty sure on this. This is the first conference game where Spencer Rattler threw at least a touchdown, but not an interception. Okay, so he had 3 touchdowns, his first 3 touchdown game. No interceptions, as Wes said, per PFF, no turnover worthy plays. And I think we were thinking back yesterday and couldn't really think of any like missed throws. Like, Spencer had the throw on the flea flicker to Xavier Leggett, and it was just a bit high. I mean, it was a contested catch.
Yeah, we can call that a miss, though.
Yeah, I mean, a miss, but he put it where only X was going to catch it. Like, X is going to make an incredible catch or nobody's getting it. But I just thought, man, in general, like you said, some of it is about, like, you can come up, we can say this was a really good game plan, like it made sense, which I do. Part of the reason they could execute that game plan was surely because the level of resistance that you're going to find from Vanderbilt relative to a Missouri or a Georgia or, probably even a Florida, even though Florida is not statistically that good, that had something to do with it. That said, I do think it made a lot of sense. And I think the reason that I think we saw Spencer so comfortable is because there were some things called, and to their credit, the players executed all of them that made sense. We saw Spencer. We saw some of the plays that we haven't seen hit all year, even when they've been there against good competition, like they hit. And that is what South Carolina is going to need. The ball to Josh Van on the improv play where Spencer scrambles out. You hit that. You hit the deep post pattern when we've seen a few deep balls this year just narrowly miss. The talent is there. The ability is there on both sides. So he hit those. But we saw some one-on-one matchups. Shane Beamer pointed out after the game that part of what Spencer did so well was just giving guys an opportunity to go out and make plays. And so I think that's what some of us have been waiting on. Hey, Juice Wells in space, we've seen that before, right? But getting Juice Wells in more one-on-one opportunities. I remember one week I was sitting here showing all of y'all a play where South Carolina had a different call on, and the ball did not go to Juice Wells in the red zone, but he had a one-on-one with somebody. So I think just kind of like, remember how early in the season we were going, what is this team's identity? And eventually it came around to, you got to get the football.
Yeah.
You got to be a run-first team. I think this game maybe opened up some more possibilities of, okay, it looks like maybe these calls we're the most comfortable with, and we can execute these things.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job of stepping up in the pocket for the most part and staying in there. I think there was maybe one play that comes to mind where he took off when there wasn't pressure, but otherwise, I think that's been a big emphasis for him to try to clean up, is just hanging in there when he can. And I thought he did that. Some of that is that the line, did give him time, so it sort of can be a positive effect there. You're not seeing ghosts when there's no pressure because you realize, all right, our guys are blocking these guys consistently. So I thought that was big for Spencer. Tell you what, y'all, Xavier Legette, I think we saw the flashes of why he's always been someone that people within the program sort of feel like could break out, and it has not happened. And he had the really rough game against SC State where he did not catch the football well, but I think we saw when he has the ball in his hands, even as big as he is, like he is quite a natural runner. Like the little, I don't even know what you call it. It wasn't a cutback, but that little sort of get skinny move where he sort of turned to the side a little bit and shuffled his feet when he was in the open field on the second reverse, I think. And he did some good things, I thought, on a bad day overall, obviously against Missouri, when they just threw the little quick screen out to him on a couple of plays back to back, where he really showed you if you can get him the ball, he can make some things happen. So I thought that was obviously good for him on a personal standpoint, but they maybe unlocked something there that you just kind of saw. All right, there are some ways that 17 can be used to help the team. Obviously, probably a confidence booster for him to get open and catch that ball down the middle on the first drive as well.
Preston, do you hate flea flickers?
I only hate flea flickers when they're not touchdowns. Don't throw the check down on the flea flicker.
Yeah.
That is the biggest letdown of anything. When you see the flea flicker, everybody stands out to see like, and then he throws to the 5-yard check down, and it's just, it's 3rd and 3. And it's like, all right, man, y'all wasted that one. But I understand that's a smart play, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, the answer is yes. I hate flea flickers.
Okay. I was going to say, if you don't hate the flea flicker, maybe that's because it's a bad play and offenses shouldn't run it. But if you hate it, I guess offenses should run it, right?
That's probably correct. I get it. Just go throw it deep. Just throw it far, even if you throw it away from somebody.
Yeah.
Give us something to look for.
I love the flea flicker.
How many times is too many? Can you run it more than once a game?
No, I think you should run the flea flicker like once a drive.
Now I'm aggressive on this now.
Like
run the flea flicker several times.
Yeah. Here's my next evolution of football. Run the flea flicker like every other drive, and then implement built-in laterals into at least a few drives a game. And because, all right, 20 years ago, nobody was talking about what an RPO was. Like, oh, we're going to run it and throw it potentially on the same drive. Well, let's throw the hook and ladder in on every other drive. Like, just give some options for tosses to where all the defense has to account, even for that guy who's kind of not anywhere near the play. Oh, but they might toss it out there to him and lateral it to him.
That's the play. So we run DK on orbit motion. You toss him the ball, and then he runs, and everybody's like, is he going to run? Is he going to pass? What is he going to do? But you have to do it multiple times, and so you get the defense sort of overthinking about what's going to happen.
It's kind of the RG3 RPO. But guys, I mean, we're just playing rugby at this point. And I sent all three of you. I went through, and I mean, I was just enjoying watching lots of cool rugby highlights, but I went and found like a very specific curation of some rugby highlights that I sent to you guys like 2 months ago.
Oh, we don't like rugby though.
I didn't watch that.
But that's the concept. That's why it works. I know that none of you watched it because none of you responded, but watch it and you can see why Shane Beamer should watch it, and Marcus Satterfield or whoever Carolina's next offensive coordinator is going to be should watch it and implement some of these ideas. I guess coaches are afraid because anytime you have an exchange, there's a greater risk of turnover. And if you're having more options, there's more exchanges. But I don't know. Watch people that practice rugby a couple times a week, figure out how to not just drop the ball. Like these guys, it's not like they've never played with a ball of that shape. Like you should be able to trust these guys to pitch it to each other and not just drop it and look like buffoons like guys do at the end of football games when they're trying to like lateral to score a touchdown. Look like they've never held a football before.
So Wes, you're when you take the job as the OC of Southwest Tech State
on NCAA football,
you're gonna say that we're running the flea flicker multiple times a game.
Yes, and we're building in laterals into like all these little screens we run to the outside. I'm having like a guy underneath to where the screen, but it's an option on like all of them. So the defense, they can't gang tackle my guy because they have to stay out there because I might toss it here, or we're gonna fake the toss and he's gonna run a wheel off of that. Like
I don't know why people don't do this. It's a great idea. And I've been saying it for years. This is why I said NFL teams need to have 6 rugby players on the roster at any given time. Because if you need to run a kickoff back or you need one of those miracle plays, those 6 guys running a line are going to beat 11 NFL defenders every time.
Yeah, we're just extending the line of scrimmage to the perimeter, and then
it doesn't even need to be extended
because
because you're going backwards. You're running in triangles. You have guys just like running in a wedge formation, and at any given time, you can pitch it one way or the other.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Though, like we're moving the point of like normally the point of any play like that is somewhere in between the tackle boxes.
Yeah.
We're moving it out there to the cornerbacks that don't like to tackle.
It's a fact. All right, this is great. We fixed it.
I don't know how we got on this.
Marcus, call us. Shane, call us. We are available. Are we charging a fee for this, or is this just pro bono?
We'll it's a trial
to be determined.
It's a trial.
Yeah, if it works,
yeah,
it'll be in our Twitter bios if it works.
Yeah, seriously.
Exactly.
803-404-6100. Love Chevy phone line, text line, Twitter at Pearson Fowler, Coach B tweets, Wes Mitchell, GC Chris Clark. That might be it. If you have any other Vanderbilt thoughts, go ahead and get them. Otherwise, we'll start to look ahead to the rest of the season. I have a question. I think I'll ask you guys today. I'm going to put it in the form of a poll for sure tomorrow. But just thinking about the last quarter of the season, 3 very tough games ahead for South Carolina, but opportunities abound. We'll talk about that next.
More of the Extra Point coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full-service dine-in buffet with barbecue ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road is open from 11 to 2 on Wednesday, 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday, and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you soon.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
We've been blessed to serve the Midlands glass needs for 20 years.
We have been fortunate enough to help thousands of customers with the best glass service in town and our store and all over the Midlands.
Sure, we can fix your windshield, usually at no cost to you.
But at Absolute Glass, we can also care for all your other glass needs too.
Home windows, shower doors, tabletops, shelving, storefronts, and all your commercial needs.
Contact us at 803-951-7200 or at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
It's November at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Every new Chrysler and Jeep available with no money down and no payments for the next 3 months. And exclusive of that offer, lease a 2022 Jeep Compass for just $299 per month. Or lock in your interest rate at 3.9% for 84 months on select models. Plus, we'll take any trade in any condition. And we'll give you exactly what your trade is worth down to the penny. So if you're interested in buying a new Chrysler or Jeep with no money down and no payments for the next 3 months, come see us in November during the Black Friday sales event. Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone, I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. Renegade stock number 28512, $13.62 per month per thousand borrowed for 84 months at 3.9 APR with 0 down. 42-month lease, $34.95 due at sign. No security deposit subject to lender approval. Offers to combine expires Monday.
At Mount Valley Foundation Services, we're proud to share some of what our customers have said about us.
I was having problems with water in my crawl space during heavy rains. I was concerned about mold and the air my family was breathing. I'm so happy I called. The problem was fixed, and I'm not stressed anymore.
Mount Valley Foundation Services can keep your home and family safe. Visit FixMyFoundation.com to book your free inspection.
Mount Valley Foundation Services, rock solid foundation.
Do you have a game plan when it comes to problems with your plumbing or heating and air? Trust the professionals at On-Call Plumbing, Heating and Air. As a locally owned and operated company, they can quickly be there when you need them. On-Call Plumbing, Heating and Air is trained technicians, not trained salespeople. Trust your home to the pros at On-Call Plumbing, Heating and Air. OnCallSC.com or 803-781-HELP.
call Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Pick up the phone and we'll be right there. Call 781-HELP.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, count on the experts at Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine to get you moving again. Our highly specialized physicians offer comprehensive care for patients at 5 convenient locations throughout the Midlands. Whether you're an athlete looking to return to your sport after injury or someone who needs help for knee, hip, elbow, shoulder, or foot pain, we're here for you. Our expert team can get you better sooner. Visit lexmed.com/ortho to learn more.
Welcome your guest into a clean, healthy home this Thanksgiving by calling the cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 1075 The Game, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
Hi there, I'm your host, Dog, filling in for the human who's normally here and bringing you the smells and sounds of the holidays, courtesy of Beggin' Dog Treats.
We wish you a begging Christmas. We wish you a begging Christmas. Dog rest ye merry Doberman, let begging you acquire. Deck the halls with strips of begging. Arf, 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 arf.
Remember, for bacon-loving dog excitement this holiday,
It's begging!
Hi, I'm Capri, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. They actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce. It's definitely a good grilled spicy sandwich.
Hey, I'm Michelle, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is it's spicy and it's full of flavor. When you pair that with the kale crunch salad, it's just good.
Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This football season and every football season, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Find your tickets online at GamecockSonline.com.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana 1-877-770-STOP. New York 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler, Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks, 1075 The Game.
$11:40 on a Tuesday morning, and welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Pearson, Preston, Wes, Chris here with you, talking a lot of Carolina football today. We'll get to hear from Shane Beamer in just a few. His weekly press conference coming up. Get his thoughts on Florida, on kind of his last thoughts on Vanderbilt. And guys, one thing that I wanted to talk to you about at some point, because this is going to become a huge story. We've already talked about the defense in general, and even being shorthanded at the end in the secondary. But if David Spalding's injury is season-ending, as Shane Beamer mentioned he feared on Sunday, I imagine we'll get confirmation on that today. South Carolina is getting dangerously shorthanded in the secondary. Interestingly, that's not been the biggest issue. Like, Carolina's pass defense has been fine this year. But what is Carolina going to do in these last 3 football games?
I think they've been fine because they've gotten good play from their cornerbacks, and those guys. It's been kind of interesting. Those guys have all sort of dealt with being banged up at times, but it hasn't been. They kind of have 3 guys for 2 spots. So one guy's been banged up and the other 2 have played at corner. And then it's sort of been a rotation there. DQ Smith is playing just about every snap at nickel at this point. And then, you plug in Nick at one safety spot, and I would guess it's going to be Devani at the other. Luckily, I think if you're going to have a spot to be thin, defensively, not that you ever want to be thin anywhere, but safety would be the spot I would pick, honestly, especially when you have a guy like Nick sort of just who cleans everything up for you. So right now, rotation-wise, it seems like it's going to be Devontae Reed. It's going to be B.J. Gibson, assuming he gets good news. They were doing an MRI on his hamstring. I guess that was going to be yesterday. But, yeah, after that, Chris, after those guys.
I mean, we saw Joey Hunter come in for one play.
At nickel.
Vandy. That was at nickel?
Yeah.
I thought that was when Eamon Worry came out. Yeah,
I thought he came in when DQ came out.
DQ had
for a
to come
moment.
out. Yeah.
Has DQ
But Joey can play safety.
Has DQ's played a little bit of safety, hasn't he? Or has he exclusively been nickel?
He started out the year at safety.
Okay.
And remember, Georgia game, they had to move him to nickel.
Oh, right.
During the week of practice.
Yeah.
And we're just like, hey, man, number 1 team in the country. Let's go play some nickel.
Yeah.
Freshman. You hadn't played DB since 8th grade.
So I guess my question is it feels like you should have a little more flexibility. It seems like Carolina's gone away from Marcellus Dial a little bit, let Cam play more outside where he was starting the year at nickel a little bit more. Is that still an option for the staff to have Dial and Darius Rush be your 2 corners, move Cam to nickel, and let DQ play safety with Nick?
Yeah, if that's what it got to, that would probably be that'd probably be your best option.
Why is that
another
not the
guy
first
goes
option?
down?
Is it because of Dial, or is it because you don't want to have to move DQ back to safety after playing nickel for all this time?
Complete guess. I would think a combination of those things. I think DQ has settled into nickel. Now he's played, what would it be, like 5 games, 6 games there, and just has settled in. He is your nickel. If you did that, you also completely wipe out your depth at cornerback, where I think they like that they've been able to kind of rotate 3 guys for 2 spots at corner, keep them fresh, keep them healthy, and are as healthy as possible. Like I said, those guys have all sort of been dealing with some things along the way. But I think they've kind of settled on the less movement for these young guys as far as, having to move from one spot to another, the better.
Yeah.
DQ is just pretty much taken over that nickel spot. Cam could always play it. Dial could always play it. If DQ went down for an extended period of time, that's probably what you would have to do.
Is Darius Rush Anthony Davis? Because I feel like he gets hurt at least twice a game.
I haven't watched Anthony Davis enough this year to know that. I was totally blanking on what you were saying.
Yeah, I was just thinking like every time Anthony Davis falls down, he gets injured.
There was one. Well, I mean, fortunately for Darius in South Carolina, he hasn't gotten seriously injured. He's gotten banged up a couple times. There were some guys like Melvin Ingram turned his ankle every game. Like, I'm convinced. Every game. I remember there was one game, I cannot remember which game it was, but Melvin Ingram was walking off the field at halftime of one game when he was playing, and I'm like, he's done, not coming back. Like, I think it would maybe even look like his knee on that one. Then, of course, he came back and had 20 sacks in the second half. Or
Preston,
whatever.
did he just need a breather, or
it's possible?
No, you know who was the worst about that?
About the ankle turn or the injury?
Just anything.
The worst at everything.
No, he was really good. But the guy that you thought, oh man, he's out for the year. Kelsey Quarles.
That's who I was going. Well, first of all, Connor Shaw. I mean, you literally could have cut. I mean, just
Connor Shaw
anything.
was like Wolverine or something. Like he would his knee would heal in a week.
I remember that Missouri game in 2013 where the guy, missed the Missouri kicker, missed the field goal.
Andrew
and somebody
Baggett
said that Connor Shaw threw his ACL at it when it was in the air.
Yeah.
No, Kelsey Quarles, dude, you were exactly right. That's the other player that came to mind because he did get hurt sometimes, but he always looked like his ankle was turned. He just had that walk, and you're like, is his ankle hurt? Or is it? And sometimes it was.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, I'm convinced. Preston, I want your thought on this. Are there some guys, though, that just, like, their body is just built different to the extent that they, like, roll something, but it's just like, oh, that a normal person is probably out for 4 weeks when that happens. But they're just, like,
just
so
different.
limber or something. I feel like Eamon Worry has had
he and DQ Smith both looked like they had suffered season-ending injuries in the first quarter and then played like 55 more snaps.
But Imamori has had multiple ankle rolls where you're like, that did not look good at all. Like, and it's not one of those things where, a guy has maybe his ego hurt and he's just like, I got to get off this field for a second. I mean, Nick has like had some actual, like, it looked bad. And then he guts it out, finds his way back out there, and then makes 12 tackles, it seems like.
Yeah, that's when they talk all the stuff about, durability and pliability and all the TV12 type mojo mumbo jumbo. But there is something to that idea that some people, your ligaments are more flexible or your body's just able to absorb contact. It's just, obviously it's not natural to run into another human being at full speed padded. So it's not natural, but different bodies can take on different types of injuries. I was listening to somebody talk about Tom Brady, and they were talking about how, and they said it, there's like, this sounds crazy, but when you when you tackle him, his body like collapses into the ground so that you don't feel, it's like you lay on a pillow, and that's how he doesn't get hurt. They were like, I know this sounds crazy. I was like, yeah, absolutely does, but people's bodies are different, man. I don't know how to, there's no way to quantify that.
Yeah. Like Darius Rush might have a body where every time he falls, he hurts something. And Nick Imamori might have a body where if he get hit by a meteor, he'd be fine.
Just regenerates.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's fair to Darius. Like Darius has come back.
Hurt every single game this
back,
season.
but he's come back in as well. Like,
yeah, no, but that has Anthony Davis too. He's just like, missed the third quarter with an eyelash injury.
Well, that's not Darius.
Yeah, the dude has
Darius
gutted
is
it
a
out.
tough
like,
guy. I'm not trying to but he gets hurt every single game. That was the only observation.
How did we get on this?
Because we were talking about how all the defensive backs are hurt. Darius got hurt.
Yeah.
Imamori got hurt, and DQ got hurt. They all finished the game, but every single time one of those guys went down, I was like, that's the rest of the season right there because you don't have any more defensive backs.
Y'all, they're thin there. We were talking about that going into the year. It's like you feel. I remember like specifically going into the year, you're like corner and nickel, you feel good. Safety, not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't feel good about any of the depth, right? You're like, you got to find two starters at safety,
mm-hmm.
and hope that they play well, and then you don't have any depth behind them. And as it turns out, they found DQ Smith and Nicky Imamori, and those guys have been really good, especially in a relative sense because they're freshmen, who enrolled in August, so that's pretty impressive. But fortunately, they've stayed healthy enough there.
Yes.
They can't afford anything else.
Right. So every time anybody goes down, it's just like a collective kind of hold your breath moment. But fortunately, they avoided those crises in the Vanderbilt game. 803-404-6100, kind of with this in mind, actually, because Carolina's going to need more players. This is not someone that's going to help their defensive backfield. We don't talk a lot of recruiting during the football season because there's football to talk about, but I do have a quick recruiting note to ask Wes and Chris about coming up as we wrap things up here on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
More of the Extra Point coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome your guest into a clean, healthy home this Thanksgiving by calling the cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you'll get $30 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR30 when scheduling online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
This football season and every football season, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Find your tickets online at GamecockCentral.com.
Whether at the dining room table or cheering on the Gamecocks, you'll find the best meat buying experience out there at your old-timey meat market. Their shelves are stocked with various cuts and grades of beef, pork, poultry, seafood, and exotic meats. The selections are always fresh, never frozen, competitively priced, and of the highest quality. Get all you need at Old Timey Meat Market, St. Andrews, South Congaree, and Lexington.
Old Timey Meat Market, quality selection, a cut above the rest.
The wait is over. New Chevys are on the lot now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. These vehicles are in demand and selling fast, so don't miss out. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet or visit us online at HerndonChevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Since 1964, Gateway Supply has been the Midland's leader in plumbing and HVAC supply, and now, of course, they are statewide with more than 15 locations all across South Carolina. Their showrooms are filled with bath and kitchen fixtures from classic to modern styles. Now, tap and touchless faucets. You can even talk to your kitchen sink. See them at Hamrick Street near the Fairgrounds in Williams-Brice, or Highway 6 and Whiteford Way in Lexington. Design services, expert advice for customers and contractors alike. Visit them online at gatewaysupply.net.
Do you have a game plan when it comes to problems with your plumbing or heating and air? Trust the professionals at On-Call Plumbing, Heating and Air. As a locally owned and operated company, they can quickly be there when you need them. On-Call Plumbing, Heating and Air is trained technicians, not trained salespeople. Trust your home to the pros at On-Call Plumbing, Heating and Air. OnCallSC.com or 803-781-HELP.
On-Call Plumbing, Heating and Air. Pick up the phone and we'll be right there. Call 781-HELP.
Just how does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Suddeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs. Well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you became a customer? Give them a call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SuddethAuto.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
Presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler,
Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell.
On the home of the Gamecocks.
1075
The Game.
Couple of minutes left here on a Tuesday morning. Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on 1075 The Game. Pearson, Preston, Wes, Chris here with you. Not a lot of recruiting during the season typically, but worth getting to today just because, as predicted, as expected, Carolina beating Kentucky in football this season has led to the swift demise of the Kentucky football program. The Wildcats, in all seriousness, are having one of their worst recruiting classes in a while and had a notable, I don't know how significant, I'll ask you guys, a notable decommitment in Khalifa Keith, who is, a 3-star running back commit for Kentucky. South Carolina had been in the mix. So what's going on with Keith's decommit from Kentucky, and is South Carolina still in the mix?
Yeah, I think this was one that we had really started to focus on leading up to him visiting South Carolina a few weeks ago. Carolina has felt like they are in it even before the decommitment. I think Tennessee probably pretty strongly in there as well. Both schools have offered within the last, I would say, maybe month or so. I don't know the exact timeline, but he's seen his recruiting stock go up. This is somebody South Carolina is extremely high on. They like him a lot. They want to take a second back in this class now. And he's actually seen as a good complement to DJ Braswell, their other running back in the class as well. This is more of like a bruiser, big tailback, can sort of run through people, physicality. I think a guy that they would love to have in the class. And I would imagine the next step will be to get him back for an official visit after he took the unofficial a few weeks ago.
Interesting that Kentucky, now, not to make it into a Kentucky show, they now have no commitments in this class from quarterbacks or running backs.
Huh.
So, yeah, a chance for Carolina to strike little blow. Tennessee is involved too, like Wes said, but the recruiting class is a little interesting. There's also some indications that Mark Stoops, his people are kind of trying to get him a little bit more involved in the Auburn job. So
interesting. I thought you were going to say Iowa.
Maybe Nebraska. Maybe all of the above. Iowa, is it open?
No,
or just offensive
but,
coordinator job?
Yeah. That's well, yeah, definitely that. I don't know if Stoops would take that job. Just somewhere that he might leave for.
No, but I mean, co-sign on everything Wes was saying. I mean, he's an interesting kid because he's kind of different than anything South Carolina has. Like, this is a big back. He's drawn some comparisons to Chris Rodriguez. It is a painful thing for Kentucky right now because their running back room is going to be pretty open next year.
Yeah, Rodriguez is finally out of eligibility this year.
I think he's finally going to be done.
Yeah,
the greatest quarterback in the history of football will presumably be gone. And
it
no
would be
quarterback
very
in the
like
class.
Kentucky though to try forge a new path of playing football without quarterbacks and running backs. Like if anybody could play football without quarterbacks and running backs, it would be one of two people. It would be Mark Stoops or our own Preston Thorne right here.
Let's do it.
Well, they did play without a quarterback a few years ago when they just
Lynn Bowden.
Yeah, they were just like,
and he was great.
Yeah,
they're like, we're done with this thing.
He was
we're just
honestly better
snap
than
the
Will
ball to our
Levis has
best
been
player.
this year. I'll just say that. All right, that's all we have time for today. Shane Beamer's press conference coming up later on 107.5. The men's basketball team starts their season tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about all of it and start to look ahead to Florida. Appreciate you listening. Halftime show's next.
Celebrating our 15th anniversary is Columbia's Sports Talk Station, sponsored by Lexington Orthopedic